On this week's UBC From Here, a student with a love of learning.
Before university, I didn't really know where I was going, and I knew that I wanted to do something more than where I was. Just wanted better, and I'm doing it.
Studying the Himalaya.
I like to study mountains just because they're there. They punctuate an otherwise boring land surface, I think. We have these features that seemingly come out of nowhere.
Helping your fellow student.
When I first started my university career, I came onto campus and I was super nervous. I didn't know a lot of people, but I felt so welcome because my orientation leaders and the people who were coordinating CREATE and who were leading us were basically walking us around and telling them their own experience, giving their own personal stories.
Don't kid yourself. We don't tackle these problems, we are all poorer for it, right? We're poorer in economic terms, but we're also poorer in a moral term, right? In an ethical space. Right? So it's time that we tackle these things. What is the way forward? Well, to me, that's a pretty remarkable example. Somebody who has every right to be angry, instead rising above the anger, rising above the negativity, and instead telling that person, I love you. You are my brother. Overcoming the negativity with compassion, with grace, with having the courage to make themselves vulnerable, putting themselves out there. Right? It was a very remarkable thing for us to witness. And it is a story that has been exhibited by so many of the residential school survivors who may have experienced some trauma in their early years, but are still these amazing, resilient, happy people later on in life. So I'm not wearing this orange shirt as a burden. I'm not wearing this orange shirt because, I want to drag myself down with memories of the past. I'm wearing this orange shirt out of celebration for the spirit, for the ability to overcome.
I was very proud to be here on Orange Shirt Day, and I was very impressed to see all the orange shirts in the audience, and I think it speaks to UBCO's inclusive nature and all the work that's being done to build bridges with the Indigenous community.
Today's speaker reflects the very essence of what the Distinguished Speaker Series is all about. It's an opportunity for us to come together as a community and to engage with some of the significant issues of the day that impacts our community, impacts our world. It's just apt that Webb was able to come here and talk about one of the burning issues of our time, issues that have defined us as a society, and we thought it important to bring someone like that into our community to galvanize conversation around this very important issue.
I wanted to reflect on what I consider to be some of the universal values of being a good person, extending love to your fellow human being. And I wanted to share that through an Indigenous lens, through sharing the story of my father and some of the stories of other residential school survivors. And in the hopes that, one, we could have a good discussion about some of the moral issues, but two, maybe also create some understanding and compassion between my community and others.
I like to study mountains just because they're there. They punctuate an otherwise boring land surface, I think. We have these features that seemingly come out of nowhere. They impact everything that we do. They impact travel. They allow us for fantastic recreation abilities. They stop migration of animals and they affect atmospheric circulation. They're just kind of fundamental to our day-to-day life. So just the fact that they're there and the fact that they do all these things, I think is pretty cool. My principal research area is looking at mountain building. In order to do that, most of the field work that I do is centered around the Nepalese Himalaya. We go to the Himalaya because it provides a natural laboratory for us to look at present-day forces that are causing mountains to rise up. One of the reasons that we're not doing it here in Canada or in BC is because the mountains here, the Rockies and the coastal mountains, aren't really actively forming. These are things that formed millions of years ago. So by going to the Himalaya, we can actually relate what's happening now on kind of the global tectonic scale to how mountains form. The idea of deep time or geologic time is one of the most difficult things for the general public to understand. Just the thought that the Himalaya only represent the last 50 million years of Earth's history, whereas we have former mountain ranges in northern Saskatchewan that are 1.8 billion years old. So this concept of having this massive time scale just is a very difficult thing to translate, unfortunately. We have some specialized equipment here at UBC Okanagan that allows us to take a rock from some mountain belt somewhere. So we look at things at the big scale, get a sample of that rock, bring it back here, and look at the details of that rock at the microscopic scale. And those details can tell us about all sorts of different things. We take that microscopic scale detail and blow it back up to make large-scale interpretations about how these massive mountains actually formed. A lot of the research that we're conducting in the Himalaya now, the processes that we're finding out are helping to build mountains, a lot of that stuff is now being applied to back here in BC and in Western Canada. So there are researchers now that are looking at those same processes for how the mountains around us here formed. So the advances that we're making in the Himalaya can be applied directly to the areas that we're standing on right now. Understanding the processes behind mountain formation and why mountains exist at all is just kind of fundamental to understanding our own physical environment. It's key to understanding so many different things that affect our physical world.
University was never really something I thought I could do. I was working, I had 2 kids, and a friend brought me here. She had a meeting with Aboriginal Programs and Services, and so I applied and I entered through the Aboriginal Access Program, and now I'm in my 3rd year management. It's definitely impacted my life. Before university, I didn't really know where I was going, and I knew that I wanted to do something more than where I was. Just wanted better, and I'm doing it. And it seems like the further I get with my education, the more doors keep opening up for me. One of my biggest inspirations are my children. So for me, it's easy because I know that every minute that I spend at university is a minute away from my family. So I make all of my time here really count. When I first came back to school, I was really scared as a mature student because I was 27 and I felt that there would be a huge disconnect between me and majority of the students. I haven't found it a disadvantage in any way. If anything, I found it to be more of an advantage because I'm grounded. I know what I want to do and have a better understanding of what I need to do to get to there. I chose to get involved at UBC Okanagan because I had a really tough time in my first year, and if it wasn't for Aboriginal Programs and Services and the mentors who helped me through the loss of my mother, which was really significant life event for me to overcome as a student, And when I came back, I felt like I really wanted to give back, and if I could be there for a student who went through what I went through, and for them not to feel alone. I mean, it's a big university, and when you're new, you can feel like you're completely alone. And once you reach out and you use the resources that the university has to offer, it's a completely different experience. And I just wanted to make university a better experience for other young Indigenous students as well. For me, I don't think my education at UBC Okanagan has necessarily changed me of who I was, more so as it just helped me become more confident in who I am. The more time I spent in the university and getting involved, the more I started to realize I do belong here. And we're really fortunate that UBC Okanagan has such a strong Indigenous studies program. I found myself in a colonial institution learning about colonization of the mind and rediscovering myself as an Indigenous person and identifying my identity as an Indigenous person. It was incredibly empowering. Candice Loring, Management Class 2016.
Welcome to UBC. We are so pleased to have all of you, 1,777 exceptional students, handpicked to join our UBC family.
Coming to create, everybody else is just as nervous as you are, and everybody wants to meet new people, and it's just a great opportunity for you to make new friends and see everyone that you're going to be going to school with.
When I first started my university career, I came onto campus and I was super nervous. I didn't know a lot of people, but I felt so welcome because my orientation leaders and the people who were coordinating Create and who were leading us were basically walking us around and telling them their own experience, giving their own personal stories, and some of the things that they went through, which really helped to basically make me feel like I could succeed in my first year of university.
The Create experience so far has been a really good opportunity to meet the people in my faculty and around campus and all the deans, meet all the other first year students that are going through the exact same thing with the feeling nervous and just seeing everyone's bright smiles, wanting to meet everyone new, and they show you everywhere you need to go and just getting familiarized with your new home.
I think it's essential for peer mentors to be there to guide the students through Create. Peer Mentor program is an awesome program for students to have someone, an upper level student in their faculty, to answer questions, to help them with textbooks, to help them with anything basically throughout the entire year. The biggest thing about joining in with the Create program is having the peer mentors meet them the first day, because no matter what, those peer mentors will be with them throughout the entire school year. And they're there basically for the school year, and I think even after the school year ends, those people are still mentors for those students throughout their upper level years as well.
I actually came here for Kickstart. I was early, so I got to meet my peer mentor a little bit earlier, and I really like her. She's become one of my really good friends already, and she's just good to have that person you can trust with anything and everything.
For me, being a peer mentor is really important because I care about what new students are experiencing and how they go about transitioning from high school or whatever it might be to university. From my own experience, I had a tough transition. I was really nervous and shy, and I had a peer mentor who helped me transition and who helped me basically succeed and become the person I am today. And that's why I became a peer mentor, so I can give back and hopefully provide students that same experience that I had in my first year.